We get back on track with the Locky two-step and Locky Trinity last week as Mike Davis and Macy Chiasson cashed the Locky two-step, and then Christian Rodriguez comes through and cashes the Locky Trinity for us at plus 387. We are doing pretty well on these free parlays in 2024, even with those back-to-back weekends where we had losses, but we're going to keep that train rolling here and move the momentum back into UFC Vegas 89. Just a reminder, there is Bellator as well, which I've dropped a full breakdown for on the YouTube page already. That goes down starting at 1 p.m. Eastern on Friday, so make sure you guys check out the breakdowns before the card kicks off if you want to hear what my thoughts are on those, as well as the LFA and OKTAGON card, which go down on Saturday. I'll have written breakdowns for those strictly on the Patreon page. So if you want access to that, check the link in the description below for the Lock of the Night Patreon page. All right. Without further ado, let's get right into the Locky two-step. First step up is going to be Mick Parkin, who is actually in the first fight of the night against Muhammad Usman. Now, both these guys are lacking a couple things in their game, but I ultimately think it's going to be Parkin's ability to push the pace and really pull away in deep waters here, which is going to cause Usman a ton of trouble. Usman might be a little bit cleaner with his striking and might be the better technical wrestler, but I think Parkin's unwillingness to accept a bad position is going to keep Usman working in these spots that he's hoping that he can catch his breath, get some air back in his lungs. But Parkin is going to continuously be working, putting him in uncomfortable positions. Uncomfortable positions, and then really start to run away late. I think Parkin has the better gas tank. He'll be able to put up higher output, higher volume, more activity, and then, like I said, likely pull away late, maybe even getting a third round stoppage here for us. But I do think he puts together a much better body of work to get his hand raised and catch the first step in our Locky two-step. The second step is going to be Trey Ogden, who takes on Kurt Hollabaugh. Hollabaugh obviously coming off the Ultimate Fighter and getting the dub there to earn his contract back to the UFC after he originally went 1-4 with the promotion. But Trey Ogden is coming off of a performance which is one of the better ones that we've seen throughout his UFC career, even including his first win that he got over Daniel Zellhuber a couple of fights back. But we saw him utilize his striking well with lateral movement and then masking takedowns very well behind it. And I think the takedown approach here is going to be very important for him against Kurt Hollabaugh, who is a BJJ black belt, but so is Trey Ogden. So I don't think he'll be in too much trouble if this fight ends up hitting the mat, or when this fight ends up hitting the mat. But I think Ogden would be best served to not engage in the pocket exchanges with Kurt Hollabaugh, where this guy has very good durability and loves to swing bombs in those close quarters. But I think we'll see the lateral movement from Trey Ogden allow him to stay on the outside, maybe land his 1-2 down the pipe every now and then, but it's going to be the eventual takedowns that'll open up that control time for him to grind out the veteran Kurt Hollabaugh and cash this Locky two-step for us. If you were to lock that in on Monday when I dropped it on the Patreon page, reminder, the Patreon folks get the Locky two-step and Locky Trinity parlays nice and early so we can get a, more often than not, better number than when I drop it to the public on Thursday evenings. They were able to lock it in at plus 188. Right now, it only dropped a couple of cents down to plus 181. If you're looking at the Locky Trinity, last week we went with an underdog in the Locky Trinity, and it worked out for us. So I'm going to try to do it again here with Luis Pajuelo as he takes on a Fernando Padilla. Now, both these guys leave a lot to be desired in terms of their game overall, but I think it's Pajuelo's ability to move forward and really crash the pocket here that's going to keep Padilla on his back foot, keep him uncomfortable, and possibly force him to slow down, where Pajuelo will be able to drown him late, just like Parkin should be able to do against Usman. But I think that Pajuelo, yes, he's a little bit wild, a little bit reckless, but it's the constant forward movement and just endless pressure that he puts on his opponents that causes them to slow down and eventually break and wilt under the pressure that he brings. Padilla is a decent striker from range, and we saw his knockout power on display against Julian Erosa when he picked up his lone UFC victory thus far. But I think Pajuelo has good enough durability and a good enough ability to just withstand that power, or somewhat power from Padilla, and continue to crash forward, keep him uncomfortable. And as long as he can stay away from some of the sneaky front chokes that Padilla has, I think Pajuelo can pretty much dictate the pace of this fight, put it on his terms, and then eventually break and finish Padilla in the second or third round, hopefully cashing our Locky Trinity here. Earlier this week, you were able to lock it in at plus 582. It actually did get a little bit better here, as there was some action that came in on Padilla, giving Padu a little bit more plus money there. So right now, if you were to lock it in on Bet Online, you're looking at plus 588. But for tracking purposes, I'm going to be only tracking the plus 582 for the Locky Trinity. There you guys go. The free parlay for UFC Vegas 89. Reminder, tomorrow we got the 3 best prop bets dropping for you guys as well. I'll see you guys then. Peace.